Good morning everyone and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. It's Happy Monday, so welcome. Now I have a KSCRAFT project share and tutorial today. So I've made a card. Once I've shown the card, I'm going to show you how to make a UV resin gumball machine using the KSCRAFT gumball machine die and Dollar Tree foam. So first of all, I'm going to show the card and then there'll be a quick pause to get everything on the desk and I will explain all of that. So first up, I used that lovely Valentine's anniversary wedding die. Can be used for all of those occasions, including birthday for somebody you love, and it is absolutely gorgeous because you get all those big hearts that pop out and they can be used on other things. And that measures 4 1/4 by, let's get that correct, 5.5 inches. So I used that in my card, and then in this lovely set which embosses love all the way around the edge, let's see if we can get a close-up without being blurred, I use this little heart element. So that is what I used today to make the card, and this is what I made. I used some gold glitter ribbon there from AliExpress and some matte gold foil cardstock, and then just that silver, and I just think it's really simple and pretty. So it really is a very quick card. So now I'm going to pause and I'm going to pop everything else onto the table. Back in a second. Right, so first of all, you're going to need the KSCRAFT gumball machine die, which is this, and from that die you are going to cut a frame. I didn't use this piece. This piece has confetti. I just used it to be able to cut the frame. So you're going to need a frame, and then you're going to need 2 solids, and the solids are done just like that, without that other little piece inside of it. Now the idea behind this is that you're going to have your frame, obviously, and then the solid in the acetate. Now that looks a bit yucky, but that's because it's got a protective film covering both sides of it. This is actually, I think it's model maker's quality for doing doll's house windows, and it's available from Create and Craft, which is a TV channel like QVC or HSN. So that's where this came from, but I did buy it years ago. So you're going to go like this. You're going to have your frame, you're going to have your acetate, you're going to have your Dollar Tree foam, which I'm going to pop out for you in a second, and then you're going to have a pretty silver backing, and then this one is going to be reversed so that the nice side is facing outwards, and that will be the back of your keyring. So those are the pieces that you're going to need. So I'll say that again. You're going to need a frame, you're going to need a solid acetate, and you're going to need 2 solid pieces, one for your inner and one for your outer. And I've also cut 2 of the little doors that the gumball comes down from, and 2 of the little handles, so that I can have one on my front and one on my back, and I will show you how those get attached in a minute. Right, you're also, because it's a shaker, going to need some confetti. Now I've chosen those. Let's bring the camera down. It means that you kind of like see less but see more, if you know what I mean. And I've chosen these. Now I didn't want too much because I want them to shake around in there. I'm using some red line tape, and this will be used, a small piece on the back of here and on the back of here, so that I can insert these. Red line tape is extremely good. It's very strong. This is also from AliExpress, and what it does is it has its own resins within the glue, and it bonds metal, plastic, so on and so forth. So this is what I'm going to use because I want a good strong hold before I apply my resin. So what else have we got on the table? We have a bail, and I will show you those after to go on the back because I want to put some ball chain through so that it's going to make a really nice quality looking keyring. You're going to need a teat pipette or a plastic dropper. These are also available on AliExpress, and if I can look at the measurements here, because it's a bit grey in my craft room, I believe this is a 10mm dropper. So you just squeeze the bulb, you take up some resin from your bottle, and then you don't throw this away, you just wrap it in silver foil. You are also going to need a brush, and my teat pipette is in here. Your brush can be as old as you want it to be. Mine is very old, but it must be spotlessly clean. So you don't want any sort of like bits or particles in your resin. You want to keep your resin clean and clear. So my teat pipette and my brush is always stored like this in a drawer, wrapped in silver foil, so that the sun cannot get at it at all. I'm going to be using one of my resin mats from AliExpress. Yes, it gets very stained up because I use all my alcohol inks and markers and stuff on here. But you just wash it off and it's good to go. And these are about 80 cents to $1 each. And they're a great craft creating size. So you're going to need a mat. And you're going to need a bottle of resin. Now, I'm not going to take the foil off mine, even though I will link to it, because, of course, the foil is keeping any light away from it. It is a black bottle, but I just double insulate it because it's like $20 for this size, which I guess really isn't expensive because I've had this for about 18 months now, and it's probably still half full. You can get smaller bottles, but I use it quite a lot, so I thought the big one was the way to go because you know how long delivery can take. And of course you're also going to need a UV lamp. Now mine plugs into the USB on my laptop, and it's a 36 watt. You don't really want to go below 36 watts because you want your resin to set quite quickly, and there are the little UV lights inside, and I will be showing obviously how this works in a bit. And this was about $5 or $6 with free shipping from AliExpress, and I like the horseshoe shape. I'm going to raise the camera again. We're going to be going up and down today because you can stand it over any object that you want. And if I use my ruler, the inside dimension there is 5.5 inches, and then I'm going to try and guesstimate it there. It's about 3 inches deep, so you could get quite a large object in there, because sometimes I like to stamp images on rocks and things that I find on the beach, and it's a nice height because I can fit those kinds of things in there. You can do some great things with seashells as well and stamp on those. Now, please excuse that noise in the background because one of my dogs has decided they're going to chew on their chewy bone right at the side of me. Right, so I'm going to pause again because I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, and I will be back when I've organised myself. Okay, I'm back, and this is one of the things that I get asked a lot of questions about. This is Dollar Tree foam board, and as you can see, I've already die cut this. So I'm going to show you what it looks like on the front. Let's see how close we can get. And then what it looks like on the back. It doesn't always look as if it's cut out, but it has. So I'm just going to put my hand on there, and you just gently finagle, I think is the word, to get it out of there without bending or creasing it. So there is my Dollar Tree foam, and that piece has popped out. Now I'm not using this piece because I only want the frame. And then these little pieces, I'm going to poke these out too. Now somewhere around here I did have a pokey tool, but never mind. Let's see if we can do it with my fingers. Yeah, the door has popped out, and then we need to get these little pieces out, and I do suggest you use a pokey tool for this. And that has popped out, and then I'm going to use my fingernail again to try and grab that piece. So you can see it does cut quite cleanly and nicely. Now there is a little piece there that got caught. I hope I'm not going blurred. You have to remember, when I'm doing things like this, I can't always see what's going on the camera, although I do try my best. And I've just taken that little bit out of there. I'm going to smooth that off because I don't want that to spoil the look of anything. So there is my Dollar Tree foam board gumball machine. So that's all cut. Next, I've got all of the pieces that I cut out. So I've got my acetate, I've got my front frame, my back frame, and my center frame. So I'm going to pop those down. I'm going to kind of move that there, hoping that you can see a lot better. And what I want to do is I want to glue my inner silver to my back so that you've got the nice side facing outwards and you've got the nice side facing inwards. And to do that, I'm just going to use my AliExpress needle tip glue bottle. All this is inside is Jot glue. Here it is. That's what I use from Dollar Tree. I don't use anything fancy. And I'm just going to squeegee the glue where I'm going to need it. So I'll go along there first. I'm going to go around the edges because that's really important. I'm going to go where, because of course when you press it down it's going to squidge to the edges anyway. So that's the glue that I've got onto the back of there, and now I'm going to put my silver piece on top and I'm going to stick it down neatly, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done that, and if I flip it over you can see that you have a nice finished back. As I say, I am fighting with my camera. So you've got a nice finished back and you've got your silver front. Now you can see that because you've gone opposites, you've got that cross piece there, which is absolutely fine, because on the reverse you're going to be able to put your little gumball machine handle in there. But of course on this side you haven't got anything that you can fix your little door into. So this is where I'm going to use a piece of my tape. And we're going to go on the inside, and don't worry about that because you're not going to see any of this once it's finished. So here goes. I've just cut off a very small piece there, you can see it on my hand, and I'm just going to cover that door area. I'm going to smooth that down and hopefully it's going to peel off. You know, sometimes you can do things on camera and they don't work. You see, I was just about to peel that off and then I realized I shouldn't peel it off just yet. So I'm going to flip this over. Now this is the back of the gumball machine, my little wax pickup tool here, and I'm going to pick up the door piece and I'm just going to pop it in there and make sure that it's secure on that tape. Now for this piece here I'm going to put some of my Dollar Tree glue, and that's going to hold the handles, and I'm going to pick those up with my pickup tool and I'm going to pop those in. I'm feeling this because I just can't see what I'm doing, so I hope everything is going in there correctly and right. I'm going to squeeze that down, make sure that there's good contact, and that is going to be the back, whoops, the back of the key ring. Now I am going to mess around with my camera until I can get it correct, because let's see if we can focus. find a focus point. It is quite dark here today, and for that I just do apologise. It's one of those things, once I start, because I don't know how to edit and speed things up yet, I'm learning all that. It's kind of like I've started, so I can't stop even if it's blurred. So I'm going to flip that over now, and we're going to glue down the Dollar Tree frame, and I'll be back in a second. So here it is, the Dollar Tree foam is now glued to that, so you can see that the globe area which holds the shaker materials is silver, and then when we turn it over it's red, and we've got the little silver pieces in there. Now if you look at this area here, which is the door, you can see that because the Dollar Tree foam has depth, it means I've got a lovely little rebate that I can put the silver piece into, but it's deep enough that I can put one of my shaker elements there, so it looks like one of them dropped down from the machine. You know, like when you turn the handle, you get a gumball. So that's what I'm going to do down in that area, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I stuck the little door down in there, but the handles, I do not want them rebated, because if they were, then realistically you wouldn't be able to turn them. So I'm going to pop those little Dollar Tree foam pieces back in, and I'll be right back. So I've done that, and I've popped my little silver pieces back in so they're not set as far back as that little doorway there. I'm now going to glue in one of my little pieces, and I'm going to put this little red heart there in the doorway, and I will be right back. So I decided to put it so that the heart shape is the right way around, and it's touching the bottom, because of course when it falls it's going to touch the bottom, and this is where we are at the moment. The next thing that we need to do is pop the acetate on, so I'm just going to grab that piece and come straight back. So I just grabbed that, and I hope that you can see I've started to pull away at the protective coating, so that what you'll end up with is a mirror shine. Now it does have this plastic coating on both sides, and sometimes you have to kind of like really manipulate it to get it off. So it's not an easy peasy substrate to use by any means, but if you do it gently and just go around, you will find, and you can feel that you've taken it off. So all of that is off the front, and now I need to take it off the back. Can you see it's all bubbled? So I'll be back in a second. So here it is, and I've almost completed taking off the other piece, and that's when it will become there, completely transparent. It's like glass, and of course you can get your fingerprints and all sorts of bits of fluff on there, and try hard not to. So I'm now going to use some UV resin to place this on to the Dollar Tree foam, and the reason that I'm using UV resin is because I want a really strong bond. But before I do that, I need to put in my little tiny shaker pieces, which are the hearts, and those are them, and I'm going to push them around and just make sure that I've got the space in there that I want for them to kind of look like there's something in there but still be able to move, and that's about right for me. So I'm going to use some UV resin, and I'm going to pop it onto there like that. And what I will do actually is I'm going to trim it off at this section so that it's not down at the bottom. So I'm just going to go along that line, take that off. That bit is now just scrap, and it's just the globe area that's going to be done. My camera is all blurred again, so I'm going to pick that up and show you. There you go. So the acetate is only going to cover this globe section, and I've trimmed off the bottom area. I'll be back in a second. Right, I'm just grabbing my brush and it has a small amount of UV resin on it, and I'm going to brush it along here. I'm going to work quite quickly because even though the sun isn't shining brightly at the moment, it will still react to daylight, and I need to create a really nice seal around that edge to hold all of that stuff in without getting it all wet with the resin. So this brush now goes straight back into my foil and I'm going to wrap it up. No daylight whatsoever. And I'm going to try and make sure that I can see what I'm doing, and I do apologise if my hands are in the way of anything, but I'm just going to lie that down on there. I want to make sure that it's neat and tidy and exactly where I want it. And when you make contact with the resin, you'll see the little bubbles there, and I'm just going to press on those. Make sure that it's right the way up into those edges where you want it, and that it's nice and tidy. Sometimes working with things that are transparent, it's kind of like at the end you think, oh, you know, I've overlapped. And when I'm doing stuff like this, I just like to do it right. So I'm now going to bring in my UV lamp, which is what I showed you before. I place it over the object, which is why I like it. It's got no bottom on it. I can just pick it up and stick it down. And I'm going in for 60 seconds and I'll be back. So that was put under the lamp for 60 seconds, and as you can see, I can be a bit of a perfectionist. It's overlapped just slightly. I didn't slide it down far enough. But, you know, that's okay. I'm still going to dangle it on my bag and it's still going to be a great bit of fun for me. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to brush all the way around the edge of the frame on top of that acetate and all over this surface here. And then I'm going to bond my red cardstock, which is this frame. Let me pick it up to the top of it, so that it will be all glued shut, and then I will be back for the final resin. So this is what it looks like at this point, and you can see bits of resin squeezed through from underneath, but this paper is now fastened fast to the Dollar Tree foam board using that resin, and I'm going to paint over all of that except for the front panel using some more. So I'm going to work quite quickly along here, and I just like to get it on in thin layers, because if I want to put a second layer on, of course I can, and I'm trying to steer myself away from the acetate. And this is a very old tatty brush, and I've had it for a lot of years, so I'm not ready to throw it away yet. So here we go. And excuse my throat again today as well. It's extremely hoarse. Horse, yes, I like horses. Not that that's got anything to do with this tutorial, but there we have it, all brushed in. And I've caught some on the top of that little area there that's got the little heart in there. And I'm going to set this now for 60 seconds, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the back, and then I will be back. So here it is now on the front after having 2 coats of resin, and it's very shiny and very glass-like. So I'm now going to do exactly the same on the back, and I will be back. I'm just sealing my edges here, and I do that with my teat pipette and any sort of like little bits of extra that I've got left in there. I squeeze around the edges of the foam so that everything is completely sealed, and then I pop it under the UV lamp. So here it is, it's now resined on all of the edges, and the back has been done and the front has been done. And now, because it's white Dollar Tree foam board, and I personally don't necessarily want to see the white, I'm going to use my Zig Paint Effects marker in silver, and I'm going to go all the way around that resined edge, and I will be back. And there is the edge done in silver, and I also decided to use my silver pen along that piece as well. That bit here is going to need a second coat, but I can do all that when it's dry. So now I'm just going to glue the bail on, which is one of these, and I'll show you that when it's done, and I'm going to put some ball chain through it. So this is what I popped on the back. This is one of those bails, and I use them for an awful lot of things, especially for making my own Christmas ornaments or for keychains like this. And just a little drop of resin and it's permanently glued on there for you. So this is what we've done today, and it's now a keyring that's going to hang off my bag. It's rock solid. It looks like a piece of pottery, and it's very shiny and pretty. It's a pity my camera's playing up, but I'll try to get a good photo of it. But there it is with the silver edges instead of the white Dollar Tree foam, so it actually has been painted silver there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed our little video today, and I did keep it under half an hour. I was trying my best. As I said, I need to educate myself on editing and fast forwarding, but that's what I have for you today. You have a wonderful day, and who knows what I'll be back with tomorrow. As usual, all links below. Bye.